So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be breaking down and analyzing all of my mapping videos that I've made so far. The main reason I'm doing this video is because of comments. Some of them are nice, some of them are mean. I'll be going into that later on. But I'm also going to be answering some common questions. Now this isn't a Q&A, the main focus is to analyze. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it because there's a lot of videos to go over. Now I'm not going to be going over the fixing the borders videos because those don't really have anything to do with war and geopolitics and stuff like that. The main focus of this is going to be the war scenarios. So we're going to be starting off with the very first war scenario that I made. Now I'm doing this because it wasn't really they were fighting. I just made out the teams and just left it at that. So starting off here, we have a very old looking me. I actually look a little bit more skinny. Oh no. So this is when I had grown out hair. Now, my hair right now is like average length, I would say. But I kind of liked having grown out hair. You know, this isn't bad, but that I think I like better. Anyway, analysis. So this was my first war scenario video, and it was creating my own Civil War scenario. Now in this video, I tried to completely, disengage politics, which is kind of impossible to do when you're dividing the U.S. because the only reason the U.S. is divided right now is because of politics and people who are just not good people. Now looking over the comments here, we have suggestions and stuff like that. This video is pretty basic. I don't go into any wars. I make out the sides. Now the main focus of this video is Texas versus California, so I'm not sure how a war like that would play out. But I kept mentioning that I wouldn't make this into a Democrat versus Republican thing, and it very much turned into a Democrat versus Republican thing. Just by looking at this map right here, you can see that it vaguely resembles the 2020 election. Of course, there's some notable changes such as North Carolina and Georgia and Wisconsin, but other than that, it's literally just the 2020 election. Keep in mind though, this was my first non-fixing the borders related mapping video, I think. It might not be. I'm pretty sure it is. So I was just getting into it and trying it out. I didn't decide a winner, which was probably a good thing because now when I decide winners, everyone gets mad at me. But this video was fun to make and you guys really liked it according to all the comments and even by just looking at the like to dislike ratio. This is probably one of my better ratioed videos. Nowadays the ratio is like 95%, which is still in the green. It's still good, but usually it's 98 or above. Anyway, this video was a pretty simple one. There's no war, so let's move on to the next one. What? I don't have control over the ads on my videos, okay? I don't know what that was. So here we are on the next video, which is creating my own World War III scenario, which is a rapidly growing video. You guys are watching the heck out of this video. This was actually my second video to ever surpass 100,000 views, which is crazy. And it's my most popular mapping video, so this one's going to be a fun one, obviously, because a lot of people like it. So the first noticeable thing here is obviously long-haired me. Once again, the only difference between us really is the fact that I look a lot more depressed with my longer hair. Anyway, just by reading the description of all of my videos, you'll understand that a lot of these videos are for fun and they're geared to be realistic, but at the same time, they're not geared to be realistic. What I mean by that is I use my current knowledge to map out the wars, but the sides of the war may not be realistic, like UK versus France. That's unrealistic. But that scenario is supposed to be like that. You know, it's a 1v1, so there's no way to avoid it being unrealistic. Whereas this video is more of a realistic geared video because the sides are kind of made up of what the sides might be in real life. But I'll get into that later. So the brink of this war is another Korean War with China joining the North and the US joining the South. Now, a lot of people got mad at me for coloring Taiwan red in the beginning. That was just a mistake. I mean, I can't really say my opinion on Taiwan because I'll get in trouble either way, so just ignore it. If the people who comment that would actually watch the entire video, they would take note that Taiwan actually changes colors. Who would have known? So anyway, we have the US's main allies that joined, which is most of Western Europe, and Turkey joined because of Russia, I'm pretty sure, which then caused the Middle East to join on China's side. So, I mean, this is escalating into a World War III. Of course, if these countries are fighting, then there's going to be a whole lot more countries joining. With the U.S. still having troops in Afghanistan, I think that the right side would... That's ironic. A lot of people got mad about Serbia. But the thing about this is that this is an outdated map that I got off of Google. I mean, obviously, it's horrible. The quality is horrible. It's missing a lot of countries. It's missing Montenegro and Kosovo, if you consider it a country, and South Sudan. So you could have probably concluded that I wasn't trying to incorporate Kosovo and Montenegro under Serbia. You probably could have noticed that South Sudan wasn't there, and then put 2 and 2 together and realize, oh, this is an outdated map. We have India that joins the blue side. Now, this makes sense to me, you know, since India doesn't like China or Pakistan. India's ally, though, is Russia, but, you know, it's one ally versus 2 enemies. We have Saudi Arabia joining the blue side, which makes sense. You know, Saudi Arabia is a U.S. ally and an enemy of Iran. A lot of people were confused about the Egypt thing. Now, the whole Israel-Palestine conflict was a little bit relevant when this was happening, so I still had it in my head about the Gaza war, that Egypt would join against Israel. But now if I were to redo this, then I would probably have Egypt on the neutral side, or I would probably have them on the blue side, because, you know, the problem with Israel has kind of been resolved between the two countries. It's not 100% resolved, but they've been making effort to resolve it, which is a good thing. So here you have the drawing the USA from memory video. This one isn't really one to talk about. This was just a for fun video kind of thing. So next video up we have is Europe. Obviously, Europeans are going to be mean to me because I'm American, and this stereotypical American doesn't know anything about geography, which is fine because this isn't that good of a drawing of Europe. The main thing that people were talking about is how I forgot about Kosovo. Now, I intentionally and unintentionally forgot about Kosovo. Once again, if you recognize it or not, it's up to you, not up to me. But I guess I could have just done like a dotted line thing. Next up, we have me with short hair, and wow, that hair looks a lot better than what I'm rocking now. Now, I released this video on July 3rd. And unintentionally made America look great on July 4th. The timing was unintentional, but the convenience was great. Okay, so there's a lot of people who were talking about how America is an empire. So, yeah, it's not really an empire. It's more of a democracy. Now, there's one comment somewhere. Here it is. So, it's an empire, not a democracy. When I said empire, I was talking about a monarchy. I thought that people would, you know, kind of figure that, but no, there's a lot of people that didn't. There's not that much to go over here. Obviously, the battles in the wars that the USA wins might be unrealistic, but this is alt history / alt future, so it doesn't have to necessarily be realistic. The main thing that I did wrong in this video is decolonization. Before this video released, I didn't really know much about the decolonization progress because apparently school history doesn't like to teach that. But after the video, I saw some comments and did some research and found out that the USA was a leading cause for decolonization. So yeah, most likely if the US was an empire, these colonies would stay. Next up, we have our first war scenario video where countries actually go to war. So we have the USA versus Russia. Now this one was the kickoff for all mapping videos. If I remember correctly, I think I had the USA winning. Yes, I did. But this video was kind of unfair towards Russia. So here we have the sides for the most part. I know Poland joins later on. But Russia's side is literally just CSTO, so not a lot of countries there. So yes, the teams are unbalanced, but what makes this video realistic is the fact that if the teams were to stay and this were to break out in real life, the USA would most likely win. Next video up is the USA versus China, which this one is a good one. So obviously we have the US and China going to war, and then we have all the allies joining. We have the US Navy and the Philippines being brought into the war. The first main point of conflict is that many people were talking about how Southeast Asia would be too poor to join the war, which is kind of true. A lot of people were talking about how the invasion of China was unrealistic. And, I mean, yeah, it is kind of unrealistic. I think that this war would probably just be fought back to a stalemate in real life. Some people were also talking about how Taiwan did not get all of China. That's just because I don't think the people of China would really agree to a Taiwanese overtake. Next up, we have creating a new world map. Now, this video was a interesting one because I said that this wasn't going to be based on culture or anything. But people really base it on culture, which they didn't listen. I said this was going to have nothing to do with culture. So you're going to follow the African religious and language borders. No, I said there's going to be nothing to do with culture. This is literally just taking a This is literally just looking at geography, nothing else. Also, what is going on with that camera angle? Why is it going over there? It needs to be going to this corner. You see this corner? This is a essential corner now. This right here, this corner, it's good. Anyway, this video is an easy outlook. There's no bias in this video. People were saying I was biased towards the US. No. No. Canada has like a 1% chance to beat the USA in a war. Now, I mean, what? Now, I was being nice to Canada in this situation. For all the Americans who said that Canada was too powerful in this video, I know they were too powerful because I was being nice to the Canadians. Maybe I should start being less nice because then it would be more realistic. But I mean, and the U.S. invasion of Canada wouldn't take that long. It would probably be like a 1 month ordeal. That's without preparation time. As soon as Canada capitulates, the UK has literally no reason to be at war with the USA. So the UK would, like, negotiate peace. There would be no point to this war. This would be a useless war. As soon as the US would enter into Ottawa, Canada would, start losing government control. US would take over other cities such as Vancouver and Quebec City. Once those places fall, Canada is literally just a forest, so that's that. I even let Canada invade Alaska because I felt bad for what was about to happen to Canada. I mean, it's a simple video. I don't think there's any bias. I mean, I know there's not any bias. I was being nice to Canada. If anything, I had a bias for Canada in this video. Anyway, enough about that video. Let's move on to the next video, which was France versus Germany. Now, in this video, we had France versus Germany, which is an interesting video. Now, I only used my Google research and just simple logistics of the two countries to make this video. So it's not going to be that realistic, once again, because I'm not European. But just to kind of make it a little bit funny, I had Germany go through Luxembourg and Belgium. I realize that's only funny if you're not from Belgium and Luxembourg. But at the end of the day, France still won this war. Germany's military is a defensive military, not an offensive military. And France has a huge military. So, yeah, France would most likely win. Not much to say about that one. I think people kind of understood that I wasn't European and that it wasn't going to be that realistic. Here we have the USA versus EU scenarios. Now, this one was a tough one to come up with for an ending. I said in the video multiple times that this video wasn't going to have a realistic outcome, and I'm pretty sure that I said this would end in a stalemate. Now, when I say that, the only reason I keep going is because there's not enough content. So if I just ended it at, like, a stalemate, where would we be at in the video? We would literally be at a 2-minute video. But instead of doing that, I go into greater detail and eventually come up with an outcome, which gives me a 12-minute video. What do you guys want? A 2-minute video that makes no sense, or a 12-minute video that also makes no sense? Also, we got a comment from GeoFX in this video, which is pretty cool. But anyway, let's look at some comments here. Yeah, here we go. We have a quote right here. It would be impossible for them to invade the EU. Eisenhower doubt. But yeah, I said that in the video. That's a quote from me in the video. Obviously, I don't know the timestamp. I don't have the timed comments feature yet. This was also when I had COVID, which is interesting because I don't look that bad in the video. So yeah, we have the Americans saying good video, and we have the Europeans saying this is unrealistic. Like I said, the outcome thing, there has to be an outcome, or it's just a short video. Next video is NATO versus BRICS, which is no. Next video we have is NATO versus BRICS. Now, this is an interesting one because a lot of people were mad about this one, and it's kind of understandable, but at the same time, it's like, this obviously would never happen, Just looking at the top comment real quick, it's interesting because NATO is a military alliance, but BRICS is an economic alliance. If this were to happen in real life, then the BRICS alliance would fall apart immediately. India and China don't like each other, so obviously that wouldn't work. Now, in this video, I am 100% sure that I said this would be a stalemate. I never said that NATO was going to 100% win. The two sides in this war are pretty equally matched. BRICS has a lot more population in it, but NATO has a lot more countries in it. So it's, yeah, NATO versus BRICS kind of turned into a World War III video. Except I did a little bit more research and I know kind of a little bit more about geopolitics. A lot of people call me biased towards America in my videos, which makes sense because I'm American. Obviously, everyone's going to have a little bit of bias towards their own country. But honestly, I don't think people really listen to the video, because in a majority of my videos, it's a stalemate and not a flat-out NATO victory. Like I said earlier, would you rather have a 2-minute short video that is literally just picking sides, or would you rather have an 18-minute video which is going into detail about war and invasions and things like that? Now, I do realize I only went into a blue side victory in this scenario, so maybe that's why people were saying that NATO won. Going into the next video, we have the EU Civil War video. Once again, this was like a kind of a weird video to do because I'm not European. So yeah, we have people who are correcting me in the comments, which is fine because, Europeans know more about their countries than I do, obviously because they live there. I live in America. We're not really taught about Europe. I mean, we're taught about Europe, but not modern day Europe stuff. So yes, this video was a little unrealistic. I didn't necessarily wing it with sides because I did research prior to the video and found out what countries kind of want to leave the EU and which countries, want to have the EU stay. But yeah, that's another video. It's just kind of like an video. But now we have a USA versus war video, which this one is interesting. So basically, I had the United States versus the entire world, and surprisingly, a lot of people said that the USA would win, which, no. If you said that the USA would win in this war, then you need to rethink. That's all you need to do. Yes, the USA would be able to take out Canada and Mexico, but from there, what do? They just play defensive. They only have 2 countries. There's a whole nother 193 countries out there that want to get to them. Anyway, that was probably just a certain group of Americans who thought the USA would win. Let's go ahead and go on to the next one. So here we have kind of a follow-up to what I was just talking about. We have NATO versus the world. Now, this is an interesting one, because essentially we're taking the USA and multiplying it by 2 and giving it another continent. A lot of people were talking about how both sides would be able to win, which is okay because in the video I said that it was a stalemate. Every time someone said that their side would win, it kind of made sense, other than the times when it didn't, but majority of the time it made sense. I get why NATO would win, and I also get why the world would win. This one's kind of a coin toss. Next up, we have what if Europe and Asia went to war. Now, this one is a little interesting. Now, in this video, I had Asia winning, which kind of makes sense. You know, we have the combined manpower of India, China, the Koreas, Japan, the Philippines, and all those countries. Economically, these sides are probably close, but when it comes to military, I'm pretty sure Asia would have the advantage. Europe does have a lot more modernized technology, but Asia just has the numbers. Next up, we have the UK versus France. Now, this one was interesting because a lot of the people from the UK were angry about this. Who would have known the country that lost had people who were angry about it? Wow! Is anyone here surprised? Because I'm certainly not. I look at this all the time. Every day I get a comment. It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. My country didn't win. Boo-hoo. Blah, blah. It's like, okay. I get it, your country didn't win. If I keep getting these mean comments, I'm gonna have to do it. Don't make me do it, because I will. Anyway, yeah, in this video I had France winning, which I thought was realistic, because when comparing the numbers, France has a stronger army, but the people in the UK were like, no, we would win, because France surrendered in World War II. Yeah, that was World War II when France was riding horses around instead of tanks. Yeah, that was World War II when France literally fought the Germans until the UK was able to withdraw. And then those French troops surrendered. Don't disrespect France for World War II. Anyway, yeah, French and British Navy are very similar. French and British Army also very similar. So this was, I guess, I'm pretty sure this would be a French victory. Anyway, moving on to the final video, we have, could the USA take on the Americas? So in the video, I actually had the USA fighting till a stalemate, and then eventually the blue side surrendered. So I guess this was kind of realistic. The main reason the USA didn't win was because they ran out of resources, which they would probably just import more from other countries. So in this video, I think the USA could probably manage to eventually get back on its feet and push back the countries of South America. The only reason I really didn't have the USA win is because I didn't want to make anyone too angry. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I enjoyed going into and analyzing all these videos because I think it kind of gives people a different perspective on what I was actually trying to demonstrate in the videos. Of course, there's going to be people who watch my videos who don't watch this video and are going to continue to comment things that just have a logical answer. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was an interesting one. It wasn't mapping, but at the same time it was also kind of mapping because I went into detail and stuff. Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're new. That really helps me out. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.